The year 2026 marked a significant turning point in Middle Eastern geopolitics when the United States and Israel's covert plan to eliminate Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, failed dramatically, leading to the rise of his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, as the new supreme leader of Iran.
This is the moment Mujtaba Khamenei, the 56-year-old son of Iran's late supreme leader, is announced as the country's new leader.
What followed was a series of consequences that have deeply impacted not only Iran's political future, but also the global balance of power. The failed intervention by the West has left Israel and the United States trapped in a diplomatic quagmire, their influence diminished, and their strategies exposed as flawed. In this script, we explore the background of this international failure, the rise of Mojtaba Khamenei, the reactions from the United States, and the global consequences that followed. 1. USA and Israel's plan to replace Khamenei. The United States and Israel have long viewed Iran as a strategic adversary. For years, both countries have sought ways to weaken Iran's leadership and influence in the Middle East. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who served as supreme leader since 1989, was at the forefront of this challenge. His policies and influence extended far beyond Iran's borders, making him a powerful figure in the region. In late February 2026, in an attempt to weaken Iran's position and create a vacuum in its leadership, the United States and Israel launched a joint airstrike that took the life of Khamenei. This was not just a targeted assassination, but part of a larger strategy to install a new leader who would be more aligned with Western interests. The plan was to replace Khamenei with Raza Balvi, a figure seen as a more Western-friendly candidate who would steer Iran towards policies that the United States and Israel would prefer. By removing Khamenei, the hope was that Iran would be open to negotiation on issues like nuclear arms, regional influence, and even Israel's security. However, this strategy was based on a fundamental misunderstanding of Iran's political structure and the resilience of its leadership. When Khamenei was killed, the political structure in Iran didn't collapse as expected. Instead, it became clear that the Assembly of Experts, the body responsible for selecting the supreme leader, would carry out its constitutional duty and choose a successor. The choice was Mojtaba Khamenei, the eldest son of Ayatollah Khamenei. His appointment was formally announced on March 8, 2026, and within days, he was recognized as Iran's new supreme leader. Mojtaba Khamenei's rise to power was inevitable, considering his family lineage and political influence. Though he had not openly sought the position, he had long been involved in Iran's military and political structures, particularly with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Basij, both of which wield substantial power in the country. While some outside observers may have hoped for a more moderate leader in the wake of his father's death, Mojtaba proved to be a hardliner, aligning more closely with the conservative factions that dominate Iran's political landscape. His leadership represented a continuation of his father's policies, but with a firmer stance on internal and external challenges. Iran, under his leadership, remained defiant against foreign interference, particularly from the United States and Israel, and he positioned himself as a steadfast protector of Iran's sovereignty. Team 3. The USA and Trump's response. The United States, under former President Donald Trump, reacted swiftly to the rise of Mojtaba Khamenei. Trump, who had long been a vocal critic of the Iranian regime, openly expressed his displeasure at the fact that the United States was not involved in selecting Iran's new leader. He went so far as to call Mojtaba unacceptable and suggested that the United States should have a say in choosing Iran's future leader. Trump's comments were not only a blatant disregard for Iran's sovereignty, but also a reflection of the frustration and embarrassment the United States felt after the failure of its plan. In an interview shortly after Khamenei's death, Trump stated that Mojtaba Khamenei would not last long in power without Western approval, implying that his leadership would be unstable. These comments were seen by many as both arrogant and outdated, reflecting a bygone era of interventionism that no longer resonated with the realities of Iran's political landscape. While Trump's criticisms were sharp, they only highlighted the increasing irrelevance of the United States' influence in the region. Instead of weakening Iran, the intervention served only to strengthen the resolve of its new supreme leader. Iran, under Mojtaba, became more determined to chart its own course, unencumbered by foreign interference. 4. The global reaction, USA and Israel's dilemma. The fallout from the failed operation reverberated across the world. Israel, too, found itself on the defensive. The assassination of Khamenei had been carried out with Israel's full backing, and the nation had hoped that it would weaken Iran's resolve in the face of increasing tensions over nuclear issues. However, the aftermath was far from what Israel had envisioned. With the rise of Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran's leadership remained uncompromising, and the new supreme leader made it clear that Iran would continue to pursue its nuclear ambitions and its regional influence, particularly in Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. As Iran consolidated its power, the United States and Israel realized that their influence in the region was diminishing. Mojtaba's leadership also drew support from other international powers, most notably Russia and China, who have long been Iran's allies. The new supreme leader's defiance against the West was seen as a sign of strength, and his leadership was welcomed by those who viewed the U.S.'s influence as overly hegemonic. In this way, the geopolitical alignment shifted, and the U.S. and Israel found themselves more isolated than ever before. 5. Mojtaba Khamenei, a strong and resilient leader. Mojtaba Khamenei's rise is a testament to the resilience of Iran's political system. Unlike his father, who was known for his diplomatic balancing act and efforts to engage with the West, Mojtaba is a tough, determined leader, focused on consolidating Iran's position as a regional power. His approach has been more aggressive, prioritizing Iran's military and political sovereignty above all else. Mojtaba's leadership marks a shift towards hardline nationalism, and he has increasingly relied on the IRGC and other military institutions to maintain control. His policies are likely to be focused on self-reliance, ensuring that Iran is not dependent on foreign powers for economic or military support. This includes further developments in Iran's nuclear program and efforts to strengthen its military alliances with Russia and China. Furthermore, Mojtaba has the backing of Iran's conservative factions, which gives him a strong mandate to push forward with his vision. He is unlikely to entertain the idea of Western intervention or compromise, which means that the political landscape in Iran will likely remain hostile to outside influence for the foreseeable future. N6. The global consequences. The decline of U.S. influence. The rise of Mojtaba Khamenei represents a new phase in Iran's political evolution. With the United States and Israel's intervention now seen as a failure, the world has witnessed the strengthening of Iran's resolve and the consolidation of power under a leader who is deeply committed to Iran's sovereignty. The broader consequences of this failure are clear. The United States, once the dominant power in the Middle East, is now struggling to maintain its influence in a region that is increasingly shaped by the ambitions of countries like Iran, Russia, and China. The failed operation has also exposed the limits of military intervention and the dangers of overestimating one's ability to control foreign governments. The story of the failed plan to eliminate Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and replace him with a more Western-friendly leader is a tale of overreach and miscalculation. In the end, Mojtaba Khamenei's rise has only served to strengthen Iran's position, making it clear that Iran will continue to pursue its goals, irrespective of external pressure. As the global balance of power continues to shift, Mojtaba Khamenei's leadership represents a powerful symbol of resistance against foreign interference and a clear message to the world that Iran will no longer be dictated to by the West. The consequences of this leadership change will be felt for years to come, as the Middle East enters a new era of political and military dynamics.